What's up, 1851 world? I am back. Yeah, you get me. I was joking this morning about how I didn't luck out in life because I don't have a face for TV, nor do I have a voice for radio, but whatever. I have the expertise, so you get to listen to me for this week on this week's Weekly Sizzle. So in the news, obviously, is Tom Brady. So Tom Brady, if you watch this, there's plenty of franchise opportunities for you to look at on this site after getting suspended for 4 games. Plenty of opportunity. So go ahead and search around, and hopefully you'll find the opportunity that's right for you. But one thing that's working for franchisors is national holidays. So earlier this week, we talked about National Wing Day in one of the articles by Matt Diaz. It's interesting how brands take their own approaches to leveraging a national holiday in the quotation marks. It is powerful for franchisees, though, in that it gives you an opportunity to market in your local community. The reality is there's a day, almost every single day, that you could probably cross-apply back to your own unit. It's a matter of how creative you can get with it. Some brands are being creative with these national days by giving out free product and allowing it to work as a trial day for their customers. Those are the brands that I applaud. Go ahead and take that extra step and do something special when those national holidays come up. So National Wing Day, National Burger Day, National Ice Cream Day, whatever it is, find a way to market that as an owner, and that will give you an advantage from a marketing standpoint. As a prospective franchisee, I would be looking at what brands do around national holidays, or just looking at their marketing calendar in general. This would be something that I'm buying into. If I'm willing to pay a franchise fee to a brand, then I want to pay it that I'm buying something. And in the case of a National Wing Day, is it a reason to buy a franchise? Maybe not, but is it something to look at when you're doing your due diligence on a brand, whether you want to buy them? Sure, yeah, you should look at their marketing schedule to see if that brand makes sense for you. Top story, and it's killing it, whatever direction you want to look, whether at the top of the page or at the bottom of the page, where up in one of those corners you'll see a Smoothie King story about their international growth. It surpassed 25,000 reads over the last few weeks, which is pretty impressive. So thank you for reading that story. Smoothie King is a great example of a domestic brand that really owned the domestic footprint before going international. And now they're able to adjust their model based on whatever country they're expanding into. They're another brand that's having explosive growth. It's a resurgence of an established brand where you put a new leadership team in place and it starts growing very, very fast. Now, a lot of franchise prospects, when you're starting to explore what brand would make most sense for you, you should be looking at the strength of the leaders. You should be looking at the projectile of growth. I like looking at some of these established brands and seeing at what point did they have this spike and what caused it. In the case of Smoothie King, you have a great product that's even better and better as they launch new ideas. You have great opportunity in that major cities still have room for growth. You have a strong leadership team, and probably most important to many of you out there is there's good profits. That yes, you can make money. Good cost to invest in it, to return on investment has a great ratio in between them, which has made Smoothie King one of the brands to watch. Now, speaking of brands to watch, it was probably one of the most disruptive stories we've ever had on 1851, as we've gone through 25 brands that people should take a look at. Hey, if your brand wasn't included in it, I promise you'll get included when it makes sense. But for a story like that, it's highlighting some brands that are doing some great things. It's just a glimpse. It's a glimpse of some brands that you can look at. But again, these are just a taste of what you should be looking at. So if there's a Smoothie King out there and it's not included in this list, do you just stop at whatever would be in that list as a prospect? No. The reality is, you as a prospect, you should determine what category makes sense for you, and then you should do your due diligence on that category to find what brand would make the best fit for you. Use a list like that to be introduced to things that you feel that you can be passionate about, but then go and do your homework on what brand can make sense. So, for argument's sake, you read a story like that. We included Jamba Juice in there. And yeah, Jamba Juice is in that category. Look at other brands like a Smoothie King in that category to make sure that whatever brands you're looking at around that brand, you're giving them all a fair shot. Because at the end of the day, it's up to you to protect your investment. And if there's multiple brands in that category, make sure you're keeping an eye open to the other brands that exist. Last week I wrote about franchise prospects not taking your call and you're pissed. So you as a prospect, why don't you pick up the phone when someone on franchise development calls you? Well, I don't know. And I think we're going to work hard. I know we're going to work hard to try to find the answers to why don't you pick up the phone. Could it be that in today's time things have changed, that sales in the past used to be I fill out a form and I get a phone call immediately, and that's the way I took information, say 10 years ago, and today I want you to text me or send me an email and set up a time, or I just want you to email me some information. I think us as franchisors need to ask you more questions in that initial process to see how do you want to take your information. I don't think we're doing enough homework as a part of the sales process. And franchise brands, I'll tell you, if I go ahead and click that I'm interested in burger brand X, and I fill out my information, I give my name, I give my financial bandwidth, and then I don't take the phone calls, franchisors in a tough space because they saw your stuff, you look good on paper, and now they want to validate you, and you're not taking their calls. So my advice to those that are looking at franchise brands and thinking about becoming a franchisee, don't fill out the form until you're ready to take that call. Don't take that next step. That next step is giving your information. Do your homework around the web first, and when you're ready to entertain a phone call from the franchisor, go ahead and fill out the information. For franchisors, maybe add a few more options on the menu of what ways or how we want to contact you as a franchise prospect. Because if I give you an option and you tell me I just want an email and hey, I'm not ready to buy right now, I'm qualified, I'm not ready to buy right now, then at least we know that, and now we can communicate with the lead properly, but we're not asking those questions. We're making it so black and white, and there should be so much gray area in the lead process. So a lot of good things happening on the site. Be sure to search around. If you haven't gone and explored brand pages, if you look under the second or third main story at the top, you'll see a few ads that appear that highlight brand pages. You should go look at the brand pages, which that will give you a specific glimpse into what's happening in those specific brands. This is the idea. If every brand in the world had a brand page and could guide you, the prospect, towards here's what's going on in the brand, just so that you're making a more educated decision when you're deciding to buy, that should hopefully make your buying experience a little better. We're trying to help you, the prospect, on due diligence, and you, the franchisor, on exposure. And somehow that intersection should meet eventually. Not there yet, but taking the right steps to get there and trying to disrupt the way that communications is delivered. I'm Nick Powills. Thanks for watching the Weekly Sizzle, and we'll see you next week. Well, start it over.
Yes.